Okay, we're live on the air. Susanna Brown.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Neighbors in the Know. We imagine we will start seeing quite a few folks joining in Facebook as you know the initial 6 o'clock time kicks through. We're going to have quite a few folks helping with this presentation. First of all, we're going to have Joe Carrion, who's the president of the Bachman Northwest Highway Community Association, who's joining along with Friends of Bachman Lake for this first ever multi-neighborhood event. And we are just extremely excited to bring this to fruition. It's kind of been a dream of ours for many months. COVID got in the way. We were hoping to do these face to face, but I think at the end of the day, this is going to actually be even a better venue that will allow for more people to join in, will allow for us to record the presentation and make it accessible to the community at the time that, whenever they want to watch it. So Joe, I'm going to hand it off to you for the kickoff. Thank you so much for making your time slot available and helping us making this happen.
Okay. Thank you, Susanna. Hello, everyone. My name is Joe Carrion. I am on the board of both the Bachman Northwest Highway Community Association and the Friends of Bachman Lake. And as Susanna mentioned, I want to thank you as well for joining us tonight here for this meeting, this virtual meeting. Si buscaban la junta en español, quiero que sepan que a las 7 vamos a tener esta misma información a las 7. So, si están en el Facebook al momento y quieren ver la junta en español, por favor, regresen a las 7 y vamos a tener la misma información. Okay. We, as kind of mentioned, Friends of Bachman Lake and the Bachman Northwest Highway Community Association are coming together for these series of virtual meetings. And as Susanna mentioned, this is our first. So we're really excited. But with that, we are still learning how to use these tools, this WebEx and this Facebook Live. So that's to say, if there are any glitches or any problems, sit tight. We are working on it, and we will get back online as soon as we can make it happen, right? We also worked really hard to make sure that we had that Facebook integration because we wanted some interaction with our neighbors and with our community. So if you are seeing this on Facebook Live, as you all are, please comment, make some comments there on the Facebook Live, ask questions. We have a team of our community association leaders and neighbors that are monitoring the Facebook, that are watching it, and that will kind of relay those questions back to us so that we can answer them here in real time. Okay, so it's exciting. And then also know that if for any reason you are watching the video live now, but you aren't able to finish it, or you want to stop watching now and come back and watch the video later, know that we are going to have this video posted on our Facebook page, where you can come back and watch it later, the Friends of Bachman Lake Facebook page, but also on the video section of friendsofbachmanlake.org. Okay, you can go to friendsofbachmanlake.org for lots of information. You can sign up for newsletters there, but you can also watch these virtual community meetings there as well. A little bit of who we are and why we are here. Again, we are your neighbors. We're all neighbors here in Northwest Dallas and the Bachman Lake community. At the first slide, you saw the number of communities that encompass the areas around Bachman Lake, Midway Hollow, Lovefield West, and all the communities around the lake. Our mission here today is to keep our neighbors informed so that we can participate in the future development of our community. And as we stay informed, we form a voice, right? We form an opinion. And again, our goal here is to make sure that as we remain informed, we can translate our opinion to City Hall to build the community that we envision for ourselves And also, if for any reason after receiving information, we still need clarity. This venue here, this space here is created to ask questions, so we can receive more information, so receive the clarity that we need, and then ultimately use that information again to build a stronger community and hold our government accountable. Yeah. Yeah. And the ultimate goal is to create a feedback loop, right? Where we have a strong relationship with our local government and with our elected representatives, so that they know the needs and wants of our Northwest Dallas community of Bachman Lake and the surrounding neighborhoods, as we kind of build connectivity, as we build a safer, stronger, and more empowered part of Northwest Dallas. And so that's what you'll see here in the coming months. We've lined up a series of city departments for updates on a range of different issues. And now to kind of, start the meeting off and then also help us test out a little bit of our Facebook capabilities, I want to present you with our Director of Communications for the Friends of Bachman Lake, Mr. Michael Cintron.
Thank you, Joe. My name is Michael Cintron. I am with the Friends of Bachman Lake, trying to get a lot of this technical stuff put together. So I ask your forgiveness for some of the glitches, maybe sound quality, but it's our first go. So we're going to ask you a couple of questions. Feel free to type in on Facebook any answers that you come up with, and we're going to say how much do you know about the area and things that are happening around Bachman Lake. So where is this Bachman Lake Greenbelt that you might hear us speak about? Is it A, north of the lake? Is it B, south of the lake? C, east of the lake? Or D, west of the lake? We'll wait about 4 seconds. Okay, the answer is east of the lake. The Bachman Greenbelt is inaccessible for a lot of people. There are homeless encampments and a lot of issues that we want to help clean up. And with your help and with all of our advocacy, we can go ahead and make that a wonderful place and connect it to the rest of the Bachman Lake Park. So next question. What area has the worst heat index? Now, in this case, we're measuring heat index by the highest average highs and the highest average lows. Is it A, the Bachman area? Is it B, the Medical District? C, downtown? Or D, Fair Park? Wait about 5 seconds for your answers. The answer is actually the Bachman area, A. Although all the areas around have a lot of work to do, and that's a lot of parking lots, a lot of concrete, and we're hoping that planting a lot of trees and getting more green, giving us green, is a way that we can mitigate a lot of that heat. So the next question. What exactly is Vision Zero? Is it A, a failed eye exam? Now this is going to be really easy, guys. B, the center of a storm? C, a new restaurant? Or D, a goal to reduce fatalities? As you can imagine, the answer is D, a goal to reduce fatalities. There was a 2017 study by the Texas Trees Foundation about the heat index that I forgot to mention earlier, and forgive me for overlooking that. But also that this area, in terms of fatalities of pedestrians and cyclists, is the third worst in Dallas. First being downtown, and also second being Fair Park. So we're really looking to find ways to work with the powers that be to make it safe for you to cross the streets, to access sidewalks, get into Bachman Lake Park, and really, really reduce the accidents in our area in particular. But the overall Vision Zero plan is to make sure there are no more such fatalities. So we talk sometimes about quiet hours at Love Field, and we're going to ask you now, when do you think those quiet hours actually are? Is it A, 11 p.m. to 9 a.m.? Is it B, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m.? Is it C, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m.? Or D, midnight to 6 a.m.? The answer actually is B, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. What that means is this is a voluntary program. It's not mandated by law. And during certain hours of the evening, 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. in this case, pilots are urged to use the runway that's right next to Denton Avenue, not the Lemon Avenue runway. I won't jumble any of the numbers left, right, and 3-1 and 1-3 and get all technical. So we'll call it Lemon Avenue runway or Denton Avenue runway. And during those hours, they ask that any aircraft taking off or landing use that Denton Avenue side runway. And that will mitigate a lot of the noise that you hear. Now, you will still hear noise. There are emergency aircraft, there are medevac flights, there are smaller aircraft that don't have to comply with that noise abatement. So when you hear us talk about now and in the future about such things and the preferred runways and preferred hours, that's what we mean. And we'll give you more details of any changes to that. There will be some coming, not to the hours themselves, but to the runway usage later this year. So look for information in that regard as well. Susanna?
Thank you, Michael. I think that was very informational, and hopefully we got a chance to test that Facebook Live link. So what are all of the projects that we talk about? We're going to kick off first and have a little conversation about parks and recreation. We've been expecting there to be a skate park built at the park. This was funded out of the 2017 bond package. The rec center is supposed to be remodeled. We're supposed to be getting a major regional aquatic center and have the natatorium, which many folks don't know that there is a natatorium at the rec center. It's fantastic, and have that upgraded. However, there has been very little progress made on these items that are visible. The only visible item that I think the community has seen is that the rec center was closed for the remodeling. It was supposed to be reopened by, I think, by this month, but it remains still closed with very limited progress, which is why we secured and got our Dallas Parks and Rec department. The first update in July is going to be from Dallas Park and Recreation to tell us a little bit about what is going on, and maybe even give us an update about the QT gas station, which was also supposed to have been completed in June of 2019 and is still not done. There's a trailhead that was to accompany the approval of having that gas station located at the lake. But as I said, we really have limited information. So we're hoping this forum is going to get us the updates that I think the entire community needs. So this is an awesome picture of a new feature at the park. It's called Bachman Island. Yes, it's a feature we really do not want, which is why in August, Dallas Water Utilities has agreed to come and give us an update on the dam, the reconstruction of the dam, and the plans to dredge the lake. A third item that DWU will be updating us on is the results of the water testing that they are doing at Bachman Lake Park. They committed to do this through the entirety of 2020 and do water testing at 3 locations, one at Lemon, one in the middle of the lake, and one by the spillway, so that we could all get an idea as to the water quality, because this has never been done before, and yet we have, you know, a lot of fishermen at the lake. We have our rowing club that uses the lake, and I think everybody would feel a lot better if they understood the quality of the water at the lake, especially given that there's about 12 outflows of runoff that come from Love Field Airport. So very important for the health of the community. The next update, we hope this will come in September, is going to be with transportation. Michael mentioned this earlier about the fact that the Bachman area is third worst in the city with pedestrian and cycling accidents. It's really challenging to have the busiest side of the park be Northwest Highway and it really is a barrier to access for the use of the park. So we feel that transportation and access is critical. As many of you know, we've commented on this before. Northwest Dallas is a park and trail desert. We really need to be demanding safe sidewalks and trails, and more importantly, trails that connect into one another so that there's a flow, so that those trails also connect us to our public facilities, be that recreation centers, libraries, the natatorium. We've created these great facilities, but it's very difficult for people to access them. And the only way to do so safely in most cases is by driving. And really, we're looking for a better Northwest Highway. It shouldn't really be a highway that is cutting through Dallas in this way and separating communities from parks and stores and restaurants and so forth. So making that easier for access would be fantastic. Bachman itself, and I thought this was a very cool picture. I'll step you guys through it. It's like a microcosm of a lot of the issues that I already mentioned. For those of you that use the park a lot, you will know that it's extremely difficult to get from the north side of Northwest Highway to the park. The bridges that exist at Lemon Avenue and at Webb Chapel are vehicular centric. They're really bridges for cars and massive trucks, not for people. Michael mentioned the fact that there's no access to the Greenbelt. There's 40 acres on the east side of the lake that is almost inaccessible. And then you go to the south side, the south side of the lake, and Shorecrest is extremely dangerous, and you cannot get to the trailhead safely from the communities that live on the south. And there's similar challenges on the west side for Love Field West off of Denton Drive. There's no decent sidewalks to give access to that community over to the park. There's no sidewalks on Shorecrest either. So we took the time and made this very quick video that we want to show you. This is of the Webb Chapel Bridge. This is a bridge between Northwest Highway and Shorecrest. It's, look at that massive sanitation truck going over the bridge. We almost got run over because there was this 18-wheeler going against traffic to turn left from Shorecrest towards Northwest Highway. And look at what happens here. Look how narrow that bridge is. People have to step off the sidewalk in order to have a two-way pedestrian traffic on the bridge. They're a great example there. So very problematic, something that needs to be addressed. And this side of the lake, that is actually part of what they call the Bachman Lake Trail. I would not call it part of the trail. It's basically an unfinished sidewalk on Webb Chapel that needs to be fixed. As I said, transportation will come in September. We are looking and really lobbying hard for a broader mobility plan for the area. We believe stronger that is needed before any decisions can be made about an alternate entrance to the airport. Because otherwise it's unclear to us. You're trying to solve a problem on one side, on the Mockingbird side, but you're going to potentially create or exacerbate problems that already exist on the north side. Traffic on Northwest Highway, as many of you know, is already problematic. The fact that there haven't been any studies done on, traffic studies done on Northwest Highway regarding the impact of a north entrance would also be a problem. So let's jump into this airport alternate entrance. What do we know about it? Where did it come from? It's been discussed. I think it started probably a little bit over 5 years ago. The whole discussion about a north entrance following the development on the part of Love Field of their master plan. And the first inkling that this was being considered was when UT Arlington posted and released this study that was funded by Love Field that shows that little, serpentine bridge over the lake and the development of the entire, a massive section of property to the north of Northwest Highway. I mean, it looks great. It looks fantastic. I think that our question, as I said before, is what is really the impact to traffic and to those neighboring communities? And we need a seat at the table before decisions are being made. So last year in 2019, that study, by the way, came out in 2017, and we will post the link to the study on our website along with the presentation so that you have access to all of the same information that we have. This screenshot was taken from the presentation that Love Field put together for the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee meeting in May, the one that we all found out about, and we wrote letters to City Council. So back in 2019, to take a step back, the analysis was really on 9 entrances. In December of 2019, though, the airport added 3 additional entrances for consideration, all of them on Shorecrest. So now there's this mix of 11 entrance options that were being analyzed. And because probably there was no community input, really no transparency in how on the data results, the proposal that has been given by the airport to the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee is that they should down select to these 5 entrances, all which are north facing, prior to getting community input. And this is, we're going to have to be very careful as a community on that, because they could very well say, yes, we're going to get community input, or yes, we support community input, but it would be once the down select has been approved, and the only thing we can opine on would be those 5 entrances. So we can do better. We believe that we can arrive at probably a better way for these major infrastructure investments to be made, solutions that could truly help the entire area, improve, for example, the horrible entrance into Dallas that is West Northwest Highway underneath the Denton Bridge, which is a trash pit day in and day out. And this, I think if we do this right, it could potentially help us address and help the entire community as well. So the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee meeting, the one I said that they were scheduled to meet in May to present this. The community pushback really caused that to be pushed now to June. So they're meeting June 15th at 1 p.m. to review Love Field's proposal. I believe that there will be certain city council representatives will ask certain members of the community to come and speak at the committee. But it's a very structured process. This is not like the entirety of city council where you can sign up to speak. You have to be invited to speak. So the process is different for committee than for all of city council. So, but how can you help? Because it's clear that the letters that have been written have made a difference. So we need to continue sending letters. If you have not done so yet, please ask the city council members of the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee to form a task force to ask the field to go back, have a task force, and then come back with a down select option, which is supported by both the community and Love Field. We have a flyer that is available on the Friends of Bachman Lake website. All of the major points that you could use to write an email are listed in the flyer. You could also use this to talk to your neighbors and make sure that they're informed, because at the end of the day, it is our properties, it's our roads, and it's going to be traffic that we would potentially be dealing with moving forward. If you don't have the time to write, if you don't have time to go and talk to your neighbors, or you don't feel comfortable doing so, please sign the petition We had some good area neighbors that took it upon themselves to put this together. And as I said, this has truly been the community rising up to push back and hopefully make sure that we do the right thing for everybody. So with that, our portion of the presentation is over. I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of time to answer any questions that might be coming up on the Facebook side. Before we do that, we thank Omar, Council Member Omar Narvaez's office for helping to coordinate with all of the city departments on the future presentations that are going to be coming. And once again, thank you, Michael, so much for all of your hard work in testing the presentation tools and make sure that they're all integrated. I think this is amazing and fantastic and such a professional thing. You are just amazing. Thank you for everything that you do. So with that, we're going to move to Q&A. I am going to take the presentation off, and basically you get to interact one-on-one with us. So Michael, what's come up out of Facebook?
Well, special thanks to Ruth Ortiz because she's monitoring the Facebook feed for us. And wave, say hi. There she is. And she got a comment off of Facebook about that island, Bachman Island. And the comment was, the island doesn't look nice, right? And I hope we got some progress on getting the lake dredged. Do you have anything to add to that?
I other than saying, please come to the August meeting with DWU, specifically, we put that as a question to Dallas Water Utilities to please answer for the community. I understand that there were some funds that were approved to look into the dredging. Our understanding from and Mr. Dickey and Mr. Carrion are on the call as well, so you please correct me if I'm wrong, but our understanding from the work, the task force that was put together for the lake back in 2018 going into 2019 was that the lake perimeter and the size would be protected and that the dredging would happen when the lake was drained. Joe or Tim, can you please add anything to that?
Tim, you're on mute.
You're good.
Can you hear me? Okay, I was just going to add that my last interaction with DWU with the water department was that they're fully aware that the council committee approved the maintain the lake option and that they're committed to dredging. The details of how that's going to be paid for may be up in the air. We need to find out directly from them where that stands. The original way it was left when the task force that Joe and I were on representing District 6 was that the savings that they would make by not building a multi-million-dollar coffer dam to block the water while they reconstruct the main dam, the savings they would make by just basically taking the dam out and losing the lake for the period of the construction of the new dam would save them enough money to dredge the lake, as you mentioned, Susanna, as the lake's not there, to basically be dredging with no lake there. If that has changed, and there are rumors that they're modifying that proposal somewhat, we need to find out about it. And I'm not sure they've arrived at a final decision on what they're going to do there. But we need to hear from them on that for sure.
Thank you, Tim. Michael?
The next Facebook question has to do with North Haven Trail. And is there a connection to it? Or if not, when will there be, is what I interpret this to mean?
That is a great question. And we are so excited about the North Haven Trail. We've done a volunteer patrol training in conjunction with North Haven Trail. And I think we all understand the importance of those trails interconnecting. So there's two options to connect up to the North Haven Trail. And the financial request went in, or the request to the city of Dallas went in last year to, okay, let me take a step back. If you're familiar with Denton Drive, the westernmost portion of North Haven Trail ends at, oh shoot, why did I just forget the name of the road? It's not Brock Bank. What's the one after that? Starts with an M.
Burbank?
Not Burbank. I forget the name. Tim will probably remember. Anyways, you're basically about a block away from Denton Drive at the point that the North Haven Trail ends.
Monroe?
Monroe. Thank you, Tim. The Dallas County is working on redoing Denton Drive. They are currently constructing and doing that work between Walnut Hill and Royal Lane. That work includes a pedestrian cycling trail. The request to the city of Dallas has been to have the next section of Denton Drive work be between Walnut Hill and Shorecrest, so that would, once again, the pedestrian cycling trail would continue, in that case, all the way down to Shorecrest. That's one option that'll probably be the longer term option. And in the short term, what we would like to see is an extension of the cycling lanes that are partially, that you will find on certain sections of Brock Bank, to continue all the way to down to, through Timberview and then to Northwest Highway. So I think that both of those are very realistic options. One is probably more of a shorter term option, and then the longer term would be the actual a trail along Denton Drive. So that's what has been requested, and we will need to work with the whole community to push to make that happen.
Okay, we have another comment from Facebook, and that states that I would love for the Greenbelt to be better connected. Maybe a pedestrian bridge from north to south side to avoid the car-centric bridges we kind of have on Northwest Highway. What comment do you have about that?
I think that's all going to come down to money. We would love for that to happen as well. One option, we have to remember that the airport is in the process. This is going to be the first trail that gets completed that helps connect the south neighborhoods towards the lake, and that's what I call the Lemon Avenue Trail. Love Field calls this project the Lemon Avenue Streetscape Enhancement Project. It's a very long word. But that's going to go from Mockingbird all the way to Shorecrest, and it's actually going to help address that dangerous curve on Shorecrest to Webb Chapel. So this question about connecting the north and the south, safely, pedestrian connection on the north loop to the south loop, we need the Lemon Avenue Trail completed. We need to push to get potentially the Webb Chapel Bridge, a portion of the Webb Chapel Bridge dedicated to be pedestrian cycling in a similar vein as you see on the North Haven Trail. And then finally, we need to get the underpasses under Lemon Avenue and that one widened, which is part of that QT Trailhead project. So a lot of moving parts, and the issue that we have is that all of these projects are managed by totally different departments in the city. And we're finding that the right hand is not talking to the left hand. So the QT Trailhead, Parks and Rec, and probably also Transportation. The Lemon Avenue Trail is Love Field Department of Aviation. The Webb Chapel Bridge, Transportation. So these are kind of like our three departments that we are trying to bring together to talk directly to you guys. So when those questions, we will make sure that we pass those along to the departments. So thank you for that, and we need your voice to make sure that gets pushed along with the city.
Well, I don't think I see any more Facebook comments. I don't know if that's it. Wave if you have more.
I Susanna,
Yes.
would you like to share any information about the recent conversation with Council of Governments regarding an overall transportation plan for the area, possibility of that?
Well, I think that there's definitely an interest in doing that. And the North Texas Council of Governments was very supportive of a broader mobility plan for the area. They're going to attempt to secure funds to make that happen and to combine that and the results of that with previously funded already study on Northwest Highway that goes from Inwood to Hillcrest. That one was kicked off last year as a result of the Preston Center project. And then there's another project that was recently funded for Harry Hines from downtown all the way to Northwest Highway. The idea is these projects cannot live in isolation. So the conversation with the North Texas Council of Governments is how to create a system of improvements that are pedestrian and cycling that bring all of these together. And I think that the focus needs to be on the areas where we see the most pedestrian and the highest number of pedestrian cycling accidents and issues. And that's how the work should be prioritized, is let's start there and then move out. So,
I do have another question that showed up on Facebook, Susanna.
go ahead, Michael.
And it says, I took a survey related to park enhancements from the Friends of Bachman Lake newsletter. It included pictures on themes for the park and infrastructure for trails. How does that connect with the Bachman Lake impacts that we've been talking about?
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to take that survey. We were definitely pushing it from Friends of Bachman Lake. That is the survey for the Lemon, what I'm calling the Lemon Avenue Trail, Lemon Avenue Streetscape Enhancements. The Love Field, as they are building, so Love Field owns both sides of Lemon Avenue from Mockingbird down to Shorecrest. The side that's immediately next to the airport, as well as the far end. And so if you've lived in the area as long as I have and you've wondered, why does it always look so ugly? Why is nothing being done? There really hasn't been a lot of pressure on the airport to do so. That has changed. I think they realize that it's just as important for them to have a nice front lawn as it is for the rest of us who own homes. So they are investing in improving, beautifying along Lemon Avenue, and they're adding. They also own the park that is called Midway Manor Park, that is directly south of north of Lovers Lane, off of Lemon. It's on the east side of Lemon, north of Lovers Lane. They own that park, and they are ceding land, and this was a huge deal, on the property that is directly to the west of the Sam's Club. So there's going to be a large chunk of land there that is going to be ceded to create a pocket, and both of those will be pocket parks with features that everybody is voting on as through this survey. But that survey is really a survey from Love Field to determine what the look and feel is going to be of the trail and of the parks and the features that need to be there. I hope that they follow the example of North Haven Trail and introduce wildflowers and some really amazing art along the trail. I think that would be great for our area.
I don't think I have much more.
Great. Well, it is 6:40. We promised to be done by 6:45. I think we're a little bit ahead of schedule. Thank you once again to everybody that helped with this. Tim, Ryan, Ruth, Michael, Marco, I see that you've joined, Joe Carrion, Diana. It's really been a team effort. We're so excited to be a part of Friends of Bachman Lake. Please follow us and maybe mention us to your neighbors so that we can really create a movement for positive change in Northwest Dallas.
Cliffhanger. We have a question.
Oh.
I would like to re-highlight the question related to the dam reconstruction and whether the trail will be built at that time.
I think the trail along, I'm assuming this is the trail along Denton Drive, right? The trail along Denton Drive is going to have to be funded out of the next bond program. I don't think the city of Dallas will have the funds to do that sooner. Whereas the Dallas Water Utilities is, as an enterprise department of the city of Dallas, has the ability to fund their work sooner. So I would think that the likelihood is, if I was going to make a bet, I would say that the dam reconstruction would be happening first before the trail and the rebuilding of Denton Drive occurs. But who knows? Tim, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Yes, just one added thing was the commitment that the DW has made to, while the dam is being reconstructed, to make the trail so that, because the trail goes along the current dam on the west end, to make it so it goes along Denton, so you would still be able to do a trail loop around Bachman. And I think that's something that you, Susanna, insisted on, and I think they agreed. Is that not right?
That is correct. Thanks, Tim. Yes, thanks for that clarification. Very good point.
So I have a question, and then it's going to be followed by another question. Did you ever experience when the store is closing and people want to get right in before the store closes?
Yeah.
So now that we're ending this, we're getting a couple of more questions, but actually I think this is maybe the last, but it's, are there any Bachman Lake cleanup events that we can participate in?
Yes, we actually have a plogging event this Saturday. So come and join us. It's very chill. Just bring a grocery bag or a couple of grocery bags, and as you're doing your exercise around the lake, pick up some trash. We call this plogging. It actually is a word that started in Sweden. That's what they call it. We had our big cleanup event scheduled for April. We were going to do a great session with Groundwork Dallas, Keep Dallas Beautiful, all of these different organizations. And then with COVID, it all got canceled. So we're not exactly sure how we are going to do those types of events in the future to help the park, but it doesn't, because clogging is so independent and you can do it on your own and maintain your social distance. That is something that you can still do to help us with cleanup at the park. And I thank you for that.
I think this is really it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you on Facebook Live. We're going to make sure that this gets posted. Thank you, Michael. Back to you.
Yep. Audio will be available on the YouTube channel for anyone who wasn't able to see, and also it will be posted to the Facebook page. And we'll post that little video about weaving around traffic as pedestrians too, so you can get a better and closer look at that. So,
yeah, that's a good video.
And we will be back. We will be back in 15 minutes in Spanish.
You got it.
Yes,
7 o'clock.
we'll do this all over again with our Spanish presentation. So if you want to practice Spanish, you can join us.
Okay. Regresamos a las 7 con la Junta de Español.
Sí, gracias. Michael, do you want to put us all on mute?
I will. I'm ending the meeting now.
Thank you.